So we're going to call to order the meeting, 7:01. We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we'll go through the attendance. Jim McCarthy is absent tonight. I'm not sure, Cheryl Gannon, I'm not sure if she's going to be absent or not. I haven't heard. I don't know if anyone's heard.
Yeah.
And then Christine Kaminsky.
I'm on Zoom.
And I think you have to state if you're there with somebody or if you're alone.
I am here alone.
Okay, and you're at home.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And then Matt is not here this evening either. And that's it, right? I don't have to state everybody that is here, just the people that aren't.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like I'm a rookie. I have no idea.
You're doing great.
So I guess the first thing on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from December 9th.
I will move that we approve those minutes.
I'll second that.
Discussion? No, we'll take a vote. So we have to do a roll vote now because somebody's missing, right?
Right.
Okay. So Annie,
Aye.
Mary,
I was not present, but I watched the video, so I will vote aye.
Rick? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Christine?
Aye.
And I'll say aye as well. So the vote is yes. Unanimous. I'm trying to take notes too, so this is tricky for me. So who seconded that?
I did. More did.
Maura did. Okay.
Cheryl.
Hi, Cheryl.
Hi, Cheryl. How are you? Welcome. So what are we doing? The budget committee guidelines. So he had sent those in an email. So Mary, did you get a chance to review those? You did.
I
right?
did.
Okay. All right. So I guess we have to, do we want to have any discussion or do we have to?
I would like to make a comment. I want to thank everybody for making an amendment just to suggest a way to communicate to the general public. I think it's a great idea to have Phyllis put something, under the budget committee section. But I wanted to clarify that my concern at the time when I brought this up to Chairman McCarthy was that the candidate who was selected was not communicated to us as a budget committee initially.
Mhm.
And we didn't find out until the evening of the meeting where the new member was introduced. I just was concerned that we should all, as budget committee members, find out in advance of the next meeting. And I think maybe that was the impetus for the 7-day protocol that was put forth. And I think you've changed it to 5 since then to be in compliance with minutes. Is that what I
I think
saw?
that's what we
For
talked
the,
about.
for the right to know.
Yeah, yeah. So that was my only concern is that as committee members, we all should know before the next meeting.
Yeah, I mean, if we focus on making a public announcement, then everybody would know anyway.
Correct.
So I think it
Correct.
covers both bases.
Yeah, I agree. So does somebody have to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion that we adopt the guidelines for filling vacancy to add to our,
Second.
to the guidelines.
Annie,
Mary seconded.
Mary seconded. He's not going to be able to read my notes. Thank you. So we have to go around and make a vote. So, actually, is there any committee comment? No?
No, but thank you guys for doing it. It's good to.
Yeah.
Good to get it done too.
I agree. I'm a huge fan of processes, black and white. Everybody knows what to expect. It was difficult being a person that had to do that, not really knowing what, you know what I mean? I ask 1,001 questions when I have to, like, what do I have to do? How do we have to do it? So
Right.
I like having things like this. So I think this is great. So Annie, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Rick?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Christine?
Aye.
And Cheryl?
Aye.
Aye. And then I vote aye as well. So that's unanimous. Okay. So Dan, I think we're ready for the presentation. So Jim had sent me the presentation. I am not really that savvy with PowerPoint, so I will try to make as many notes as I can. I don't want to manipulate anything in his presentation,
Did he
so I'll
send it
make some
PowerPoint?
handouts. Yeah, he sent it to me.
He said,
Her.
no, we
Ours
didn't
is
get it. We got
PDF.
PDF.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I should know PowerPoint, but I really don't. I use it minimal at my work, so. I know that, so he'll have to fill in the information that Matt had shared. So at the time when he shared it with me, he didn't have the figures back from Matt. So, and he obviously didn't get a chance to update it before the meeting tonight. So he sent us this separate attachment that said everything that was missing. So as we go through each slide and make final modifications, I'll just obviously leave this stuff out and then he can add it in later. And we can talk about it if you guys want. So I guess we'll just go page by page. So you guys can all see that, right? Okay, good. So page 1, I don't think we need to make any modifications to, because nothing has changed. I don't think we wanted any changes. He asked me to just make a note. Okay, sorry. I'm trying to follow his notes here. Okay, so page 1, I think we're good, right?
Well, I got one thing. Sanborn Regional School District, either all on one line or have Sanborn Regional and then School District. It doesn't make any sense to have the school on a separate line.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else? We all good? I don't like PowerPoint. Okay. Page 2.
You said we're not going to make changes?
No. You guys, I'm just going to handwrite the changes. You know what I mean? And he's going to go
Are we
through.
going to have to meet again? Is that the idea?
No.
I'll make changes if you want me to.
No, well, he has to finalize it anyways, I think, and share it with us.
No,
if I'm
we
not mistaken.
finalize it because.
Okay.
I mean, he's not here.
Well, I mean, if
So-
we're talking about stuff and we're making changes, like, let's just, want to come over and sit there? And
No, I mean, I can, you know what?
I'll be happy to help.
Hold on. I can fumble through it.
Okay.
All right.
Look at you
Just
go.
one last offer to help if you want me to.
It might be easier for you to
To just-
wrangle us if you have him do
Yeah.
that for you.
Yeah.
Do you want to do it then?
And
I'll be
take it-
happy to help. Yeah, that way we,
We're
Yeah,
team.
okay. Because I'm already like frazzled by the notes and I'm only on page.
Multitasking so well.
Okay, good. Perfect.
All right, community effort. Here we go. Yep.
We didn't have anything on the second page, did we?
I don't think so. I think he just reformatted it. It's funny because I couldn't see his comments of what he changed. You know what I mean? Normally this at sidebar, I think, but I can't see it unless I'm just don't know what I'm looking at.
What was that?
That was the
It was
mouse.
the mouse.
I have a beach theme on my laptop.
I thought it was the leak in the.
It's a wave.
Honey in for the greenhouse.
Did you bring margaritas too?
So yeah, I think page 2, I think we're okay then, right? There's nothing on
Let's just
page
read it
2.
again real quick. Administration recommends. budget. School boards. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
You're comfortable
Um,
with him?
Vanessa, he didn't send you like what he might be adding as notes?
The only things that were missing that he needed to add were figures on, and he specifically, so slide 3, slide 4, 8, 12, and 5. Yeah.
No, I meant like what he's gonna say when these come up, when the slides come up. Is he gonna
I think
have
he-
some
Yeah.
speaking points?
Yeah.
There's no speaker notes in the presentation right now, but I'm sure, I mean, he did last year, so.
yeah, he had some notes last year when he went through it.
So are we
is he going to share those with us so we can kind of review and comment, or?
I honestly I don't think so. I mean, last year we didn't do that format. He basically had just some little side notes if we needed to expand something on the individual slides.
Because
but
that's what I was thinking on some of these. If he was going to say
yeah,
something to expand on it, it would be fine. But there were some things that I wanted to, as they come up, I'll just mention.
I feel like last time we met, we kind of, I feel like we've kind of already given him direction on what we want him to expand on. I feel like when we left at the last meeting, this was mostly done. I feel like today is just like a,
Buff and polish.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying, Cheryl, like there are definitely some side notes, but I feel like we discussed that last time, that as long as he kind of says what we discussed last time, I think it should be fine.
If there's certain points that you want to cover on a slide, I can add it here in speaker notes. And we
okay,
can just let them
Yeah,
know that we
just-
put some comments in there to consider.
okay. I
Yeah,
think that's a
Way
good.
it's all covered.
That would be great. Thank you.
And I don't want to be a grammatical scourge, but
Can
the
we
last
space
bullet
it?
says meets, it should be considers, not meets, consider. Just
Okay, yeah, considers needs. for high
present
quality-
participle, meets, considers, not, or meet, consider. Just keep it consistent or.
So consider the impacts, consider the needs of that. Oh,
Yeah, put S on
What
the
should
two
it be?
considers.
Add S to considers on both of those, so
Yeah.
that the present participle is the same throughout.
Thanks for being the nudge, Mary.
I'm sorry. It's a simple fix. Move on.
Okay, slide 3.
okay. Core beliefs, a foundation for improving the quality of education. So the aligned curriculum, academic intervention, implementing the best practices of teaching, a culture focused on student achievement for the whole child. Now, he did make a note that he had asked Matt for some more information regarding the aligned curriculum. He said, can you please provide some details which make up the aligned curriculum? What is it aligned with? We are considering putting some details in it for our presentation, maybe some core details, which it is based on, if any, nothing in crazy detail. Those were the questions that he had sent to Matt. So I'm not sure if Matt replied to that.
I didn't see anything
Yeah.
from Matt on that. I know that, well, you know, from all your school board meetings, I know from watching them, that it's about aligning vertically and horizontally. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, he talks about having it aligned throughout the school so that one thing builds on another level and another, and then building second grade on top of first grade. And so a fifth grade teacher knows what the kid was supposed to be learning in second grade. and,
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. That's what it means.
I heard that in the ISA meetings, but I'm just, is
Yeah.
he going to be able to relay that, or people? I feel like we're opening a
I don't
can
feel
of
like
worms.
it's the budget committee's place to, and I know we kind of went back and forth last time we met on not this exact thing, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's the budget committee's role to explain what that means.
I almost agreed. Like when he had mentioned that he was waiting on info from Matt, and in my head, I was thinking, I just feel like we're opening something that isn't
Yeah.
really, we can't really explain in detail, because people are going to ask us, and
I think Maura's right. I mean, we have to know it because we have to understand what we're funding, but
yeah.
we don't have to explain it as a
Yeah.
part of the budget presentation. Cheryl has her hand.
Go ahead, Cheryl.
We kind of got into the same discussion where we talked about the school board goals,
Yeah.
that it really wasn't our responsibility or position to be explaining that. So I kind of feel like the same thing here. If we're going to put this in, it's our presentation. It's a public hearing where people ask questions.
Mm.
And if we can't answer them, would there be someone in the audience who we could defer to and say, Superintendent Ambrose may be able to explain that? Because
Yeah,
aligning,
Last year.
I mean,
I
I
feel
think-
like I feel like Tom interjects when
He
that
does.
type of question comes up.
Yeah.
So
He did
to
last
that point, I think
Yeah.
that Tom would come in and he would explain that.
well, I'm going to be a nudge here. This is the budget committee's presentation. So I think the budget committee needs to take the leadership role and say, if someone has a question, we will
Defer to Tom.
defer to. We shouldn't be waiting for people in the audience to be raising their hands, and because he's in the audience at that
Yeah.
time. He's not part of the committee or the presentation. So I think, and I think Annie explained what I think it means,
Mhm.
but I'm going to be a nudge again. It's our responsibility to explain to the people who are not as educated as we are about these things, because it's their money. So we need to be able to explain to them what they're voting on. Aligned curriculum could be perceived as aligning to the core,
Common Core.
the Common Core standards, which some people, it's very controversial. So, you know, if someone does ask a question, I think we should defer. Or maybe Matt could give us a very quick explanation. Curriculum aligned amongst schools or something like that, the district schools.
I think that would make sense to ask Matt and Tom for a quick 2-sentence understanding of what it is. That makes sense. And the same with academic intervention, kind of a quick sentence about each one of them.
And then what, add it to the slides?
No, but
Just have it.
The
have it,
speaker's
have it
notes.
for Jim's notes as he's presenting,
Okay.
say an aligned curriculum. What that is this. For each one of those.
So we'll add that to the speaker notes for Jim then. Just get a quick statement on both 1 and 2.
No, and 3. Best
Practices of teaching.
Yep. And then student achievement for the whole child. I mean, I think there are people who listen to these things who aren't even involved in education, don't even have kids in the schools.
Yep.
85% of the population doesn't.
No disrespect to Jim, but he's not the best person to define any of that. I don't think he's the best person to give definitions. I just think we defer to somebody. It's not Jim's role.
Yeah, I almost agree with you. I would rather say if somebody has the question and wants more information, I would rather leave it up to the superintendent for us to defer to the superintendent. I think it's important that we understand it, but I don't know that we would explain it in the fashion that it needs to be
But if we
explained.
said that we asked the superintendent to supply a sentence
Yeah,
on each one of them, then it's the superintendent's words. It isn't Jim making it up.
But the superintendent's going to be in the room, right?
Yeah.
So let him speak.
I think
What-
he's,
what-
I think he's happy to speak, and
Yeah.
I think he would rather it come out of his mouth than for it to be our interpretation.
No, it wouldn't be our interpretation. We're asking the document that Vanessa has here
Mhm.
was addressed to the administration. Can you please give a brief description? So if they give that brief description and Jim reads it and someone then has a further question, that's where I would say defer. If you have more.
I guess it's
He
difficult.
would just be reading the administration's explanation.
I just don't know what the brief description is going to be and if it would open up a can for more discussion, you know?
Unfortunately, the administration didn't get back to Jim with answers on this
Yeah.
stuff, so we don't know.
Yeah, so it's difficult.
I mean, Jim still has it down as a to-do on this presentation.
Yeah, so we can give him direction that we want a statement on all 4 of them.
Or it could just be a paragraph that summarizes the core beliefs. And then if there are questions, then Tom can answer pointedly. I'm not hot about this at all, but
Yeah, I guess I'm trying to understand what we're trying to get across. So we feel as if us just saying the core beliefs and the foundation for improving the quality of education are these bullet points, but we feel as if each one of them needs a more formal statement explaining what aligned curriculum is.
Yeah, and Tom has always done that verbally, but I think he could probably very easily write it.
Where did this come from? Did this come from his?
Yeah,
The superintendent's, yeah.
Budget presentation.
see where it's from?
And that's exactly what it said? I don't
Yes.
have it with me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm struggling with how this even ties into the budget that if it was up to me, I would probably remove this whole slide, but I understand that's not the
We're
groups.
funding each one of those things.
Yeah,
You know, and I mean, this is the stuff, this is kind of 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the things that we had, that, you know, the school board has agreed is primary stuff.
yeah.
And then it's our job to fund that.
But how do we, like, how do I know that I'm implementing the best practices of teaching through my funding? You know what I mean?
Like
Like,
money for professional development in
Yeah.
the budget.
okay.
Yeah, we're starting to
Can-
get into a lot.
I'm getting into the
Opinion. What do you think, Christine?
Christine, do you have any comments?
No, I agree that there should be some clarification. I do not have children in the school system. I have not had a child in school for over 40 years, so I would not understand a lot of this. So I agree that there should be a little bit of explanation, not much, but some clarification.
Okay, so I think what we'll do is we'll ask Jim to, this will be one slide that he will have to finish with a statement from Matt. And then whether it's speaker note, you know, it will primarily be speaker notes. The information won't exist on the slide, but he'll have to speak to it off the slide.
And I would suggest he talks to Tom.
Right.
Yeah, not
Honestly,
Matt.
I would have, what, you
Not
don't,
Matt.
right, yeah,
Yeah.
you agree, Tom?
Yeah.
I would say he should talk to Tom and get Tom's kind of opinion of like, here's a brief thing, or, oh yeah, you're gonna go into the weeds, and I mean,
And that'll be a heads up for Tom that he'll be available on call should anybody raise
Yep.
their hand.
Okay. And yeah, and then we'll just specifically say, please defer to Tom if we need to. Okay. All right.
Do you want to add some notes in this?
The speaker notes? Yeah, I think so. I'll talk to Jim about it specifically as well. And he's going to watch this. I mean, he's going to review our comments here. So, okay. Come on. That's why he's having me take notes, the minutes of each page. So he, you know. be
I'm
clear to
kind of
him.
disappointed that we don't have this information. This is kind of what this meeting was for.
Yeah.
Fill in.
Well, yeah.
but I'm not, but I still, I don't think, and for what you're saying though, I'm not sure that we really necessarily agree on it. I don't think that we agree. We're not all in agreement that this should or shouldn't be in here. I'm okay with what we've decided on, but the fact that
those
he
are the
doesn't,
Notes that Jim took from the last meeting. That's why he presented those. I'm going ahead to the next slide too, and there's information again that we don't have,
Yeah.
that we had asked for.
Yeah, I know Matt had an emergency, so it wasn't that he didn't get to it. It was, you know, there was a family emergency, so there's a reason that
But
he.
our last meeting was when?
The
It
night,
was
2
about a
weeks
month
before
ago.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a month ago. I
So
think
there
it's a
must have been
valid-
a- yeah.
It's a valid objection. I agree with Cheryl.
Okay,
We
well,
should have had this.
And Jim might have it and just didn't get a chance to update it.
yeah, I mean, he may,
That's true.
yeah.
Yeah. that
Well,
could
you
be.
did say, I mean, we know that he didn't get this, but we did get the other information,
Yeah.
so, yeah, okay. We'll blame it on Jim, because Jim's not. It's all your fault. Okay, so moving along to page 4. The operating budget proposal fiscal year. So this is the one where we now have so if you have those figures,
I mean, you can certainly figure out what the increase to the current budget is. I mean, that's just a mathematical thing.
no, well, so he had
I
the,
believe it was 3.40 or something. I mean, they're really close.
but did Matt, so that was the information that Matt was getting back to him.
No, that wasn't, I didn't ask on that. I asked,
Oh, so that was something different that you would ask for. I'm sorry.
that's coming further.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm sorry. I wasn't aware of that. Okay.
What we wanted here, Vanessa, was what is the current budget? You see the
Yes.
Current budget, and there's a blank there.
Yep,
So we wanted to fill in what is the current budget
yep.
and
And then the
then
percentage
give
increase.
the percentages.
Okay, I
can
just
t-
misunderstood. what
Okay,
you
I
had
can tell
said.
you, I've got Google Drive open, so I can tell you what the current budget is, if you want it. Do you want that number to fill in?
Yeah, I mean, if we know it.
Let me find it here in Drive. Here's
I
Drive.
don't think we want to fill in that number. I think we just need to fill in a percentage.
No, he wanted the number and a percentage.
Yeah, but you're not putting a number on the slide, correct?
No, he was, yeah.
where it
Please add
says
the current budget.
Where was he adding it?
36,011,1926.
Okay.
right at the top line where it says 2021 through 2022. 36 what?
011926. Does that sound familiar to everybody? It
Yes,
sounds.
it does.
Say it again, 36?
That sounds good.
011926.
Does anybody have a
That was
calculator?
the operating budget plus the professional staff bargaining agreement and the administrators collective
Yeah, so
bargaining
it was,
agreement.
it was the total budget, yep. Okay, so if we know the 3.39, if somebody has a calculator and just do, 1.2120709 divided by 36,011926, we'll know what the percentage increase of the default budget is, and we can put that number in.
Oh, sure. Oh, Jesus. 36. 011926. So 0.033. Does that sound right?
No,
No,
No.
no, I'll do it.
Okay,
I'm just,
thank
I
you.
wanted to check this. 3.3, I'm checking the 36,019.
Yeah, okay.
That number's solid. 37.
It's funny. I have the calculators at work that do all this stuff for you, so I don't know how to do it old school way anymore.
yeah, slide rule.
That's before my.
Funny,
3.27.
what is it?
I can't be right.
3.27.
That's not right.
No.
That doesn't sound right.
No.
One of them's wrong.
Why don't we just have Matt do this?
Yeah, I mean, if
I feel like I would rather if something be wrong to be able to be like,
well, we can always, add it and then just have Matt
it's
double
not
check.
like it changes what we're gonna
Yeah.
present. I shouldn't say present. It's just a number. Can we, the number is the number. It's a fact. It's
Yeah.
not something that we're gonna debate what the number is.
The reason why there's a hyphen after the proposed budget,
I don't think so. I think that should probably be taken out.
36,011.
Yeah, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I was gonna do my cost, my resale.
I've got
and
my
margin.
Excel open. 1,227,009. Yep.
Mhm.
Divide by 36,011926. Equals 3.38%. Yep, that's what I thought. And that's what that's what I remember from.
That sounds like a very familiar difference.
Yep. So
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll
that's
just,
what I got.
so we'll add those and then we'll just have him double check.
It's
with
not
Matt.
right, though.
What's that? Is that not what you're getting?
Well, if we have 3.39 and the increase is 1.167, how could 1.2 be, what'd you say, 3.3 what?
3.8.
3.3897 it
So
is.
how, yeah, so it's exactly the same.
It's,
It's
they're almost,
almost exact. It's almost exactly
Yeah, almost-
the same, and that's why.
so it
3.39.
should say 3.39 then.
That's what, or 3.38.
So it's
3.38.
3.3897.
Oh,
shouldn't it be more?
It should be.
It should be more.
That's
That's what he's saying. All right,
It doesn't make any sense.
let's just have Matt give us.
Number is-
The numbers aren't.
yeah.
One
You
of them
can't
is
have
wrong,
11,
yeah.
6, 7, 5, 37 and 3.
Okay,
20 and 3.38.
Yeah.
37.
Matt's gonna have to advise and then we'll, like Moira said, it's not gonna
Yeah,
change
it's an-
Put
the
some
information.
Red question marks in there, so we know that's got to be filled in.
Yeah. And can you remove that dash? Unless you already
He did.
There you
Yeah,
go.
okay. I can't see behind me. Okay, anything else?
I'm just double checking the 37179.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yep.
You know, that statement, the proposed operating budget is ... 53 less than the default. Can we just make that one line?
Yeah.
So it's not split up like that
Yeah.
and space it down?
Look kind of, I get the point, which was to make it look flashier, but
Yeah.
I think it would look better. if it was-
Okay, so,
No, the bottom, the proposed operating budget.
so guys, when I do
Get rid of
the
this?
increase
Yep.
the current budget, and double check that number, what I come up with is that's 3.32. So it's 3.39 and 3.32. So we need Matt to double check those numbers.
Yeah.
It looks like the number's wrong on there.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so. well,
They are close, but they're not identical.
Let's get the numbers from that.
Yeah,
Or did they use the 35 million?
So I'm just gonna put, need to verify numbers with that, right?
And then can you fix the bottom?
What do you want to fix?
Where it says proposed operating budget is, can you make that all one line? Maybe space it down and make it one line, or
Oh,
if he wants it to stand out, you know what I mean?
just bring this up, is that what you're saying?
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it's already in red, so. It stands out.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that does it.
Oh, I like that size better too,
Well,
whatever you did.
it's just space, that's all it is. So
Oh, that's
I can leave
better.
it.
That's a better size.
Yeah, okay. Is that it? Everybody else happy with that?
Yep.
Okay. Christine, if you need anything, you're gonna have to holler because I'm not.
I shall.
Just letting you know. Okay, so page 5, the summary, let me just see, yep. Slide 5, so current Rev 3, please provide. Huh? Slide number 5, so his notes say, slide 5, current Rev 3, please provide current budget dollars. Oh, never mind, that was the one that we were just working on.
Okay, so that was slide 4. He
Yeah.
has the note here. for it.
Yeah. Yeah, his notes are mixy. Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to, you want to get lost. Okay, so summary of the major changes in superintendent recommended 2022, 20 or 23 operating budget.
Question, yeah. Would it make a difference if we put all of the pluses in sequence and then all the minuses? Instead of 2 pluses, 1 minus, 1 plus, 2 minuses, 1 plus.
I think what they are is they're in
They're in
alphabetical order.
alphabetical order, from what I can see.
Yeah.
Well, they're
I'm
not.
just, again,
Oh, I see.
thinking it's
Okay.
easier to look at, all these things are added and all these things in a row are removed from the budget or lowered.
I was just trying to see if you had any other slides that were formatted the same way, if it was going to be an issue going through.
I think you need to line up those dollar signs.
Man, didn't we have all that hard work of making them all center?
No, I'm just saying,
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know. I'm only saying because I think last time we didn't have the dollar signs and it was
Yeah.
different.
Right, yeah,
I
and-
get
And we
it.
did, the
There's
right
another
alignment.
slide.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You wanted it to, I think we wanted it to the right last time.
Yeah.
I think that looks good like that. And again, when these print, are they printing in red for people or no?
No,
No,
Yeah, I
No,
thought-
we said it
Oh,
was
is
yeah,
it just ours?
just black and white for the print, but it would be colored on the screen.
Okay.
so Cheryl, how strongly do you feel about the negatives and the pluses being aligned as opposed to the alphabetical?
Well, if nobody else wants to do it, that's fine. I'm overruled.
It honestly doesn't matter to me. I
No,
don't.
this is
care
the way
either
the superintendent
way.
gave it.
Yeah.
Moving on.
So slide 6, unexpended funds returned to a taxpayer. So,
Okay, there's one thing that I did dig into with Matt on that, which was what's the tax impact of, any unexpended funds? I mean, the assumption here is that there's none. Do you remember how, Carol Capolo always used to have it be 750,000 when she did it on the revenues? I remember that. But anyway, that does 0. and just waits to see what happens at the end of the year. It's a more conservative approach. But for every 500,000, the impact is about 35 cents in Newton and 32 cents in Kingston in the tax rate. Just so we all know that, I wanted to kind of find out from Matt what it was.
Okay. For every 750,000 returned to the taxpayers,
I think you said five.
Every
500.
500,000,
every 500,000
right.
returned to the taxpayers, it's 35 cents
32 in Kingston, 35 in Newton.
per thousand.
Yes.
Oh,
Yep. Because we're looking at an awful huge number here for, the increase. I just thought it was kind of nice to know what it is, particularly when we start looking at the contracts.
So, again, could we give like a brief explanation as to what are unexpended funds? And how, because again, I'm playing Joe Schmo voter, don't know anything about budgets, but I'm paying a lot of taxes. Am I gonna get that money back? You gonna give it to me in a check? How, because it says funds returned.
Mhm.
So just, again, like a one
Do you want to
sentence
script something for Jim?
explanation. So when we show the slide, Jim would
You know, it makes sense. I think we
say-
talked about that because we moved, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Good.
Just that it would say, what this means is that your tax bill for the next year will be offset by this amount. You're not going to get a check.
And, it should probably say credited instead of returned.
Well,
I think our discussion was, Jim was gonna put some color around that. The next slide, we start talking about things that weren't in the budget and that they could potentially be paid for with the unexpended funds. So we did have some discussion about that.
So we should make sure there's a comment regarding the side notes, unless we want to script something specifically for him to say.
Yeah, I think there should be some color added to this.
Yeah.
To Cheryl's point, there should be some color added to it of brief explanation of what the unexpected funds are.
Yeah.
And, there's current needs within the district that some of those funds, could be used for, which I think the school board, I think two members of the school board, I know for a fact, mentioned that they would be considered. So,
Yeah, either the facilities money or unexpended funds. I
Unexpended
mean, there's a
funds.
couple of different sources that
Mhm.
they talked about. I think Cheryl's point on return to the taxpayers is good. I think it should say credited. Because there isn't a check issued.
I think it should state a deduction on your tax bill. I think that's what they would understand. That it's their tax bill that would show a decrease.
It doesn't actually show it, though.
Yeah.
It reduces the,
It just offsets it.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, does the school actually give the money back to the town? So it really is returned. So I think,
yeah.
so thinking that it really is actually returned, it's not credited. It's just that there's a middleman in between. So it may be an explanation, but it probably should be returned because the school is actually returning that money.
That's
Yeah.
a good
It's the
point.
town that's not returning it to us.
again, like a one sentence explanation.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to be detailed.
so
but-
are you proposing that we hammer something out for Jim? Because
No.
No.
No, and he could, Matt could probably give him.
Right. I mean, I watched the video for the last meeting where I was not present and, there was a pointed remark about how it's not all unexpended funds. It was actually an increase in returned revenues as a result of reduced medical claims. So I think if he keeps it as simple as it's money that was unspent at the end of the fiscal year, it's left over and the school board decides if they need any of it. And if not, it gets sent back to the towns and the town will reduce your tax rate.
I almost
I
like the way that
wouldn't
you
even
said that.
mention the
Like that,
town.
it's
I would just say-
Did you get all that down?
I think,
know,
I just think that if he keeps it that simple,
Yep.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Matt could probably give you a one sentence,
Yeah.
real simple explanation.
Well, yours was such plain English.
Yeah.
I think you should, I
Yeah.
think you should recommend that he
He
get it
listened
off
to
of
the voice, yeah.
Get it
So
off
put
of
a
the-
note for him to listen to Mary's comment. and
nobody ever said that
word it.
before.
First time for everything, I guess.
I really did like the way it was very plain. It was like it was good.
It's real simple.
It was.
I'll put please listen to Mary.
Yes.
There you
Do it now.
I could not repeat it.
I know. Well, it's funny. I do that at work all the time.
At
Somebody's like, say that again.
I got it, yeah.
We should,
Okay.
we should tell them soon.
Okay. So let me know when you flip. All right, so page 7, I'm gonna make a note, 742, okay. Important needs not on the operating budget. So we talked about the resurfacing, the running track, wireless upgrades, auditorium equipment upgrade. So that all looks good.
What is
He's
that?
gonna talk about it.
What's that note on the side? Presentation, tell background story for each of these items? Oh, so that's Jim's notes?
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
I
Ah,
feel like that was on the last slide too, though.
I didn't know.
Does it stay?
No.
Because I feel like I've already seen that note on one of the last slides.
He's got notes throughout.
Oh,
Okay,
well, yeah, the note shows.
Okay,
I
yes,
thought I
these-
saw it already.
Yeah, I mean, these are just presenter notes, right?
Okay.
So these are notes he's adding, and he's got some files that are in there. So-
Oh, yeah, like it looks like he's already telling himself to go back to the last meeting at 8:15.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. All right, so nobody wants to make any changes to this one?
No.
no,
This
I
one is
think
good.
notes are,
Okay.
if he follows up on those. we will.
So page 8. So again, this is something he was waiting.
This is the
Um,
stuff that we got the information on.
Oh, we did. Okay, so this is what you would
And
request.
the other thing I asked for was not only that, but the other thing that I asked for was the support staff to student ratios, because we obviously are increasing support staff with the intervention program. So
Yeah, but I think that's. Okay. So I guess my question is the student to teacher ratio.
Mhm.
I think we decided last time, if I wasn't mistaken, it's too difficult to break that down because is it like an average for the whole district? Is that how
It
they
is.
do it?
it is.
Because I feel like that's a misinterpretation.
No, this is calculated. I asked Matt to make sure he calculated it the way the state does.
Okay.
Because last year, remember, he said an 8.5, he was coming up with some other way of calculating the student-teacher ratio that wasn't, it didn't have anything to do with the state. So I'll just read you this so that you know. 2 years ago, it was, the student-teacher ratio was 10.4 to 1. Then last year, this current year, it's 11.1 to 1. Next year, the staffing that we're looking at and the enrollment we're looking at will be back to 10.4. Okay,
Okay.
so that's, and it was 11 10 years ago. So, it's all stayed just about the same. The student to instructor support ratio back in 2016, which is as far back as Matt was able to go, was 26 to 1. Next year, with the interventionist paras, it's going to be 18.4 to 1. And that's, that it was a comment you made at our last meeting, Maura, about how, we are adding these people and stuff. I mean, this is pretty significant numbers.
What is this? What is the relevance of this to the budget?
It's what we're paying for to make education.
Student to instructor, I think, is valuable. Student to staff, I think, is a little misleading because staff includes.
I can't hear you. What'd you say?
Student to staff includes a large number of people that aren't instructors, correct?
The student teacher ratio is one of them. The other one is student to support staff, which is the paras.
Because I think recalling back to the conversation, part of what I was trying to say was that, and I agree with you, like what we have for principals or like, that's not really, but there's that in between, which is, yes, our teacher ratios have gone up, but we have interventionists and paras. So I was just trying to say, it's not that black and white to say our student teacher ratios have gone up because we have all this other support staff. So I think that's what the number you're saying doesn't say that we have staff of, we're not counting the person at the SAU office, right? They're not part of that. So
No, it's not
think
administrators,
that's-
it's not secretaries, it's not
Yeah.
custodians.
But
Yeah.
but you gave 2016 and then this year. So did you get a full breakdown for all the
Yes,
years?
yeah. This current year, it's 25-1. Next year, it'll be 18.4-1 as far as support staff.
why is that jump
This
so
is
big?
very confusing.
The jump is so
I
big.
still don't see,
We're gonna.
are we gonna put a cost per
Because-
pupil?
So
based
even though
on
they're in
student
the,
teacher
so
ratio?
even though they're
Gonna be
in the budget
confusing.
for this current
very
year,
confusing.
because they weren't filled, it doesn't get added into the,
What Matt did was he did filled positions.
oh,
So-
okay.
So he did filled versus budgeted.
Okay.
So next year, it's budgeted to have 18-1.
But
So-
that doesn't prove what you're trying to get it to prove because the number actually went down and then the teachers went down.
No, the teachers actually didn't. The
You
teachers.
said it
went down.
was
The
10,
teachers have
11,
been
then
level-
10.
The teachers have been at a level.
Yeah.
For 10 years.
Yeah,
You know, they varied a little bit by,
Oh.
you know,
Based on
tenths of a
enrollment.
percent. But the staffing for support staff is going way up.
I think so if we were to fill this out, because I'm a numbers girl, so I kind of want to see this really quick,
Okay,
just because I don't have that. So I just want to write it on this. So like
sure.
the student to teacher ratio for 2016 to 2017.
Do you want to check the enrollment numbers too that's on that list?
Yeah, 1665,
Okay, which year are you at?
2016 to 2017.
It's actually 1516
Okay. So the student to teacher ratio,
is 10.1.
okay, and the,
What's 15, 16?
the number, the enrollment
The
number,
enrollment.
Oh, so that's-
students.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
And what
different.
is the cost per pupil?
The cost per pupil is up a little higher on my sheet here.
Well, hold on. Let's
Okay,
just fill
okay.
in what we have and then we can
Okay,
backfill,
okay.
if you don't mind.
No, that's fine.
I'm sorry, just for the record, where are we pulling this information from? So-
This is,
Matt.
it's in our Google Drive.
Okay.
Matt did it.
Okay.
This is his document.
Okay.
That he gave to
I just
all
want
of
to make
us.
sure we're all.
You guys all have it.
Oh, if we look under budget committee
Google
folder,
Drive.
we'll find it.
Yep.
Okay.
So 2017 to 2018, the enrollment,
The enrollment is 2017 to 18 is 1453.
okay.
Whoa, way off. Yeah.
And then the student to teacher ratio,
10.1.
okay.
Okay, just so you know, these enrollment numbers do not include pre-K. These are
This
from
is-
Matt. Yeah, they don't seem right, do they?
No,
Nope.
they're way
Oh.
off.
And how do you figure cost per pupil from this information?
This isn't going to give you the cost per pupil.
Well, but it's there. So we're gonna eliminate.
It's on
the-
his
Well-
slide, yeah.
Yeah,
But I just wanted to see how this looked, so then we can discuss.
Vanessa asked that we just look at this part first.
Yeah,
These ratios.
I want to
first.
look at this so I can see what it is, and then we can make a determination based on what the information is, whether or not we want to change it. Did you shut off?
I don't think I ever got plugged in. Hang on a second, I got to plug in. I'm going to lose my computer.
I'm just trying to understand the relevance.
Well, that's
of the
what,
budget, using these numbers, is that going to give us the cost per pupil once you fill those in?
The cost per pupil that Matt did, that I asked him to do, was exactly the way the state calculates it. So what I asked him for was the historic cost per pupil and then the projected cost per pupil with our budget recommendation. So you
So
don't
do
have,
we have those numbers of cost per pupil?
yeah,
yeah, but I said, let's just fill in these and then
Okay.
we're gonna fill it
That
in,
was
but
my question, was
yeah,
how are we going from there to there?
okay.
okay.
So 2018 to 2019, the enrollment,
1546
okay.
and 10.6,
2019 to 2020,
1525
Yeah.
10.6.
2020, 2021.
1407.
Yeah.
10.4.
Okay, 2021, 2022.
1387. 11.1. And next year projected 1378 and 10.4.
Okay.
Okay.
And then what do you have for cost per pupil?
Cost per pupil, you want 2017, 18 first or 16, 17?
16, I mean, we might as well fill it in, 16,
Okay,
17.
I just don't have that sheet in front of me.
Okay.
16, 17
Yep.
is 17,653.7.
Okay, next year,
17, 18 is 18,203.5.
Okay, 18, 19,
18,770.5. 19,016.5.
16 even 0.5?
Yep.
Okay,
19,016, right? No, that was.
I'm sorry.
01.
19 to 20, is that what you're saying?
No, it
I'm
was
sorry.
19,016, 19,016.5.
Oh, I totally messed that. Okay,
Okay, then 20,334.6.
okay,
Then this year estimated. Why he's got estimated? Oh, because it hasn't, okay. Those are the ones, all those that I just gave you are from the state website.
okay,
Now, these are Matt's estimates. For this year, that it's going to end up being 19,009.4.
okay.
And then next year, he's estimating 22,118.5.
Okay. So these don't include pre-K.
No, because the state formula doesn't include pre-K.
Okay, which if we did include pre-K, it would change these cost per pupil numbers.
Not really, because you increase your enrollment, but you also add costs for running pre-K.
But we're talking about, isn't the cost per pupil based on,
Doesn't have pre-K in it. It's the cost for K through 12.
okay. Okay. And then you're saying, go ahead.
Cheryl's got her hand up.
Oh, sorry, Cheryl, go ahead.
I'm very confused. How does student to teacher ratio impact cost per pupil? How do those two things relate?
72% of our cost is staffing. It might be 75% now. I mean, certainly the number of teachers that we have impacts the budget.
Yeah, but
I don't
But what does
understand.
it have to do with the student to teacher ratio? Why don't we just say, this is how many teachers we have? This is how many pupils we have? Isn't that how they figure it?
Yeah. The ratio is something which we've talked about before I ever got on the budget committee. It was always in the budget presentation, the student teacher ratio, and the cost per student was always on. As a matter of fact, it was always on with comparative until last year against other districts. Before I ever got on the budget committee, that was done.
I don't recall that at all.
I mean, back when Barry Clark
Remember
was doing it, he
enrollment
had it.
numbers.
I'm just
Um,
reading back to Matt's note. Jim, this slide is not relevant anymore. We had a net increase of one position, mainly because of special education. So I wonder, I'm not really saying one way or the other, whether we should or shouldn't, but I think it was more relevant a couple of years ago when we were decreasing the teachers, but I think it was more something people were looking at where we're not doing that.
You're speaking as a parent. 85% of the people, according to Tom, in the district are not parents with kids in the district. They're looking at these numbers. They're saying, what am I paying for?
I'm just saying the student teacher ratio, I think there was a change of teachers. there doesn't seem like there's a change of teachers now. That's all I'm saying.
No, and there are going to be people who are going to say, you know what, we still have a really low student-teacher ratio. They are. I mean, we do.
Yeah.
We do. We have average class size of 19, whereas there are districts all over that have 26.
Mhm.
We are increasing our paras. I think people need to know that we're doing those things.
Yeah.
And that we're spending the money on
I think
this
if we
stuff.
were, I would agree that if we're going to put that up, I think we also need to put up I think we somehow need to add the paras and interventionists, because I think that to just have a student teacher ratio, I don't think shows the whole picture of what we've done with adding the interventionist. So
I totally agree with you. And that's why I asked for that, because of your comments. That you made
right.
the last
Yeah.
time. That's why I asked for that information. So I'd like to put in a second column there for those ratios.
What is the para numbers? Do you have those?
Yes, I do.
For the same breakdown?
And this is numbers that came from Matt, which is based on the same formula as the state.
Yep.
I just want to see them and then we'll talk
Okay.
about it
Yeah,
more.
I'm very confused. As to
Okay.
how this-
I mean, I understand,
Because
I understand
Cost per
kind of where
pupil
we're
is going up.
Yeah. We approved contracts. We pay our teachers more. We've got the same ratio of teachers as we've had for years, and we pay them more. People complain all the time that we don't pay our teachers anything. Our cost per pupil is going up.
Is that the purpose of this slide?
The purpose of the slide is to talk and to say what it is. It isn't to advocate for anything. It's to say, here are the facts.
Yeah.
And you should pass this budget because we're paying our teachers more now?
We're recommending this budget. Here are the facts. Here are the things that we look at. We look at this kind of stuff to say what this is. This is the budget we recommend that we feel provides the education and those other foundations.
I don't recall looking at any of this information when we delivered.
So so that was going to be my point, is we're just filling this information in now. This never came up discussion at all throughout the budget process.
Okay, I may not have talked about it, but I look at it all the time.
Yeah.
And I listen to school board meetings where they talk about all this stuff every single time that they meet. So it is something that's a conversation. in the
I don't
district that
hear
I'm
them-
very aware of when I'm backing the
See,
budget.
I don't hear them talk about cost per pupil that often. I mean, I listen to the school board meetings too, and I can't tell you the last time I remember them talking about it. You know what I
Tom
mean?
talks
So
about it. Tom talks about it.
I can't remember the last time. But what is the paras? I'm just curious.
Okay. Going from top to bottom,
Yeah, please.
16, 17.
Oh, wait, top,
Stretch
you're
the top.
saying 2016? Yeah,
Okay,
please.
26.6,
Last year.
21.4,
I'm sorry, say the first one again. I'm sorry, 20.
26.6.
Yeah,
21.4,
yeah.
25.3,
Are you pulling up the information, Annie?
23.9,
Drive.
25.9,
Yeah.
25.0, 18.4.
So we're projecting less for next year.
Yes, which means there are more paras. That when the ratio goes down.
Oh,
that
gotcha.
means
Sorry,
there's
sorry,
more.
sorry, sorry. Yep, okay.
I would recommend removing this.
You know what?
It's extremely.
Go ahead.
Hi.
Hi.
This is the slide we used last year, and I think I don't know how we got off of that and how we got onto this. I don't recall, to be honest with you, but that makes a lot more sense to me.
So the slide he's showing me has the teaching position changes. So it's a breakdown. It says like -8 positions, -6, -2, if you guys want to look at it. And then it's got the collective bargaining agreement increases.
It's public.
And I
It's on-
think
it's
that
last
that-
year's presentation.
Yeah, I,
Probably relates back to the original comment that this slide is not relevant anymore. That's probably what that comment is based on,
The,
that it's not relevant.
can I just
do
make a
have
quick
those
comment?
numbers of the total teachers and the total paras. If you want to use that instead of the ratios.
So I just want to say, and this is just me, I wasn't a fan of this last time that we talked about it. I didn't like this information in here. So if it was up to me, I don't like it. You know what I mean? But I know that a couple people had really wanted it in there. I don't see. I mean, if people want to see this information, then, I'm sure it's publicly available somewhere. It's, again, to Cheryl's point, we didn't talk about this when we decided the
We
budget.
talked last week about this stuff.
Yeah, about this slide, but it's not like it was, when we were going through the budget process, we were like, okay, what is our student to teacher ratio? What is our cost per pupil? How is that factoring into the budget this year? Like, it wasn't a part of the budget decision process.
Okay, well,
Maybe it was for you, and I'm not saying that it's not important, but
we talked about the staffing.
Was it part of these questions and answers? Was it one of the questions or a series of questions that were in this?
I think. it
I don't
would've been.
recall.
I don't recall.
think it was.
But you're right. That slide that Rick brought up was part of the presentation last year because there was a reduction in staff.
Yeah.
And there was, switch to a couple of adding paras, reducing any teaching positions. And I think that's why that was there.
And here's the money that represents that.
Right,
That makes more sense.
right.
I
We're
can't.
not
connect the
having,
dots
we're
with
not
this one.
having a big staffing change. He said there's one position for special ed, but we will be hiring and increasing the paras in the next.
But I don't think but I don't think that we're actually increasing the paras. It's just they
Filling
weren't
them.
hired, right?
Filling them.
So going back to the budget didn't change. We're not increasing the number next year. It's the same. It's just we didn't fill them. So I don't really think we can
Except for a
say.
couple of special ed ones.
We're just really getting into the weeds.
Should we just take a vote of whether the slide goes in or out, or?
I
There's
think
one-
it makes more, yeah.
There's one other consideration that you could vote on, which is putting in total teachers over this period of time and total paras over this period of time instead of the ratio.
Yeah, I mean,
So that's kind of three different positions. No slide.
Annie, are you trying to show the trend
Mhm.
without a
Yeah.
graph?
Yeah, because you all didn't like the graphs, but the graphs were things that we inherited when we joined the budget
Yeah,
committee.
yeah.
They've been done for years. People are used to seeing certain information in these, when they see the budget and consider it. I just think, you don't just kind of throw out and just say, oh, well, we're not going to give you that information.
Can I ask you this? If you were presenting this, what would your commentary be about this slide?
I would have in the back of my mind some of the conversations that I hear about people saying how we are, particularly NKTA, is this bad person who keeps, reducing the number of teachers for their kids and making the class sizes huge and doing all this kind of stuff. And I would say, no, they haven't changed. We're in the same place we've been for the last 10 years. I would say that in what Maura was saying the last time we met about how, she's just really glad that we have more paras to help with intervention. And this shows this. I think it's just important to address concerns of the community on these things.
but our class sizes have increased.
Our class sizes,
They have. I mean, Tom, you
Yeah,
mentioned that.
and that's why I think that the slide becomes more confusing though, because you're
Yeah.
gonna.
Yeah, because
I completely understand where Annie's coming from on that. And I feel like when I first started getting involved, I feel like that was something that I heard a lot about and that maybe I even looked at. I haven't heard too much of it lately. And kind of to your point, if it didn't come up in our budget presentation, if it didn't come up in our discussion of approving the budget, it shouldn't be in there. I really can see both sides. I think you both raise
yeah,
valid points.
My concern looking at this blank slate is that the numbers that are populated are not the same as what Matt provided to you. So right from there, I'm like, timeout. I don't want to present information that's invalid or irrelevant. So I think unless we have a concerted message and implication for this data, that we shouldn't go there.
yeah.
That's my opinion.
And this doesn't include pre-K, and then there's this caveat, and then there's that caveat. It just becomes really, really convoluted.
Go ahead, Rick.
And the numbers that are up there are ones that we've already presented formally.
The numbers are not what is presented. Is
Those
that-
numbers we've already presented last year. They're on the slide.
Oh, they're on that slide from last
So
year.
somewhere there's a disconnect in the information. That was my-
Yeah,
I was gonna say a
I,
little while ago, like,
I think from the start of this,
Just-
I was a little bit nervous about the numbers.
Yeah.
you just spend 15 minutes talking about bad numbers. Like,
I think we take
to
a,
me, that's a complete waste of time.
I think we take a vote on whether or not we just want to keep the slide in or out. I think we have to make a decision.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
say we vote.
Okay.
All right. So Annie,
I'd like to leave it in.
Mary,
I think we should take it out. It's incomplete and we don't have,
Moira,
Take it out.
we don't have a conclusive theory.
Christine,
I say leave it in if the columns are completed information.
okay. So there's two in. Cheryl,
I'd say remove it.
okay. Rick,
And I'm gonna say remove it based upon the fact that what the slide showed last year is that in 2017, 2018, 8 teaching positions were reduced. 2018, 2019, 6 teaching positions were reduced. 2019 to 2020, 2 teaching positions were reduced. 2020, 2021, 9 teaching positions were reduced. 6 teacher interventionists were added. And in 2021 to 22, 8.5 teaching positions reduced. The slide was supposed to sort of move away from closing the other school and sort of explain the reductions over the course and where the savings were coming from. And it's Matt's point, it's not relevant.
yeah. Yeah, I also vote to remove it. I just think it's too confusing for the information for people.
It's fine. I'll be getting the information out
Yeah,
to people that, are my constituents. So
Absolutely. I mean, we're
getting it out.
always, yeah, we're
that's
here.
fine. No,
Okay.
it's fine.
Okay. All right. So we're going to remove slide 8.
Yeah, I don't mean to say it's not relevant, and it's just maybe not relevant here.
Yeah, I feel like it's. a little-
I get very concerned, and you said that you don't, not hearing that kind of conversation so much. I hear some of it
Yeah.
with people still complaining about evil NKTA. Believe me,
And I
I
don't-
put a post on Facebook and I have people jumping down my throat.
And I don't disagree Annie, with where you're coming. I think my biggest concern is, I think it's messy.
Yeah.
And I just don't trust the information and the numbers. But I agree with you. I think it's good information and I think that you should put it out there.
Well,
My big thing is I'm not comfortable if the numbers are correct. It's a little confusing. I hear where you're going with
Yeah.
that on that. I really do.
That's my concern too, is that we can't validate the numbers.
And
We're
I
not
do
sure-
hear, I do hear from parents, our numbers, like our class sizes are going up. And I think with COVID too, I think there's like a disconnect with people chatting.
Ebb and flow too.
Yeah. So, and that's why I think it needs to be a conversation, because to just have a student teacher ratio, I think is going to make the NKTA look bad because they're going to see the numbers going up. But to your point, Annie, that's not there's more to the story there. So I just think it needs to be a conversation and it just gets really messy. But I agree that we've added more support staff. I understand where you're going with it though.
Yep.
Okay. So he added a note to remove it for Jim. We didn't physically remove it. He added a note. So page 9, the reserve accounts. So
on this, I think it'd be really great to get the balance as of 12/31.
I agree with you. I think a more updated balance would be good. So update,
Is that a date as of
Put
9:30?
it in the notes.
10/31.
yeah. And assuming he has that. So let's say if he doesn't have that, we leave it at 10/31.
Yeah.
But if he has it,
Matt's got it.
yeah,
I mean,
okay.
They report it in the finance committee.
But
all
if
the time.
Matt's available, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Between now and next week and whether or not he
Right.
can get that to us might be.
Well, he could also get it out of the minutes of the finance committee. They report it every single time.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Contingency fund. It has a lot of money in it.
I think
Krista-
that's the
Krista
emergency. isn't it?
McNulty, I'm sure, has it.
Yeah. Isn't the contingency fund, isn't that for emergencies? Oh, no, that's the emergency use fund.
The contingency fund is at the
The last one. 198.40.
545,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the amount that the school board held back. That can't be spent without running out of all our money and getting approval from us and approval from the school board and approval from the DRA and the Board of Ed and everybody else in the world.
Okay.
And
So-
that's also the money that is assumed to be zero unless the school board holds some back next year,
Okay. So that's the fund that they can hold and carry over year to year.
just for 1 year.
Just for, well, that's, yeah,
Yeah.
every year, but
Yep.
they can do hold it.
Yep.
Okay.
So that amount stays the same every year?
That's a,
It's a
no,
percent.
it's a,
Is
It's
it 1.5%?
2.5. It's restricted to 2.5% of the tax dollars, the local tax revenue dollars.
But that's in the fund right now.
Yeah. The school board held the maximum amount that they were allowed to by law.
And what happens at the end of this year?
It goes back as a tax credit.
or they could opt to hold it.
No, they can't.
Oh,
They
they
have to
can't. This
hold,
one
they have
they
to take unexpended funds from this year.
Gotcha. Okay.
Every year,
okay.
kind of, it's a rolling thing.
Okay.
To use to use the money, you can't just use that money. You, like Annie said, you have to go through multiple steps. It's there, but I don't think have we ever used it? I don't,
No.
I don't think so.
Well, we've only held it for a couple of years. It's a new
Okay.
thing.
I think something really big has to happen to
Yeah.
use
And
it.
one of the
You have to
things that
tap out
Matt,
everything else.
Yeah.
one of the things that Matt said is that he feels that this is a good, it's a good amount to, it's good to hold to try and even out the tax impact. So like this year, if they held less than that, because there's going to be less money left, then it could make the tax impact a little bit, you know,
I have heard him talk about that before.
yeah, so,
That is specifically the contingency fund, he said?
yeah, that's contingency fund.
I'd like to know how much has been spent out of these in the last year.
Can't hear you.
I'd like to know how much has been spent out of each of these funds in the last year.
You can get that accounting from the finance committee. The subcommittee. I think they report on it every month.
Don't ask me. Sorry. I don't know that number off the
Move
top of my
on.
head. I'm on the finance subcommittee. I couldn't tell you that number though. I don't know what it is right now.
I don't think you do it cumulatively, do you? You just do it each month? It would be interesting to see cumulatively.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I
they just
couldn't
report
speak to
what
that
they
right now. I
spent.
really don't know what the numbers would be. I'd be making it up.
Do they report the balance of each fund every month
Yeah.
and where it started and what they
I
spent? I feel like the last one I listened to, I thought, God, I would love to know what they spent, you know, on like where it started versus what they spent and then where we're at now. You know what I mean?
They
well,
report that, don't
we
they?
do go over what
Yeah.
was spent. Yeah. Like if we,
From meeting to meeting, but not like,
Do you do a year-to-date lumber?
Pull
yeah,
over.
because we say what's unencumbered, and so we do go over all of that stuff every month. I don't even want to guess at what any of the numbers
Yeah.
are.
No,
though.
that's-
I'm not comfortable throwing that type of thing out.
This is another thing I would like, again, like a one sentence explanation of what is the reserve account? And how does the money get spent? Although I guess it doesn't have any
Well, each
impact
one
on
is-
the operating budget.
and each one is different too. So I feel like
Yeah.
that would be a pretty big statement to explain how it got spent.
Wormhole.
Yeah.
They're
'cause-
mostly for emergencies that were not anticipated in the operating budget.
Bingo.
Except for the capital improvement fund? No, except for the facilities use revolving fund. That one's not for emergency. Because that one, it gets invested in technology and facilities.
Is there any changes we want to make to this? We can just
Just the
ask.
update.
Just the update to the 1231. You have that note?
Got it.
Okay. All right. So page 10, future considerations, 815. And these were, I thought that these all came from one of the superintendent's slide, but maybe not.
I don't think they did. I think these came out of Jim's head.
Oh, no, these were carryovers from last year that we changed on the last meeting, I think.
Yeah.
So 2.3 million annual high school bond to be paid off in 2024 does not reflect in the budget until that year. So it's just keeping that in people's minds. aging infrastructure maintenance. And that is addressed in some of the previous slides. The Fremont contract ends in 2026. The possible enrollment loss of 250 students, possible loss of tuition. And he obviously got that information from Matt, right? The 250 and the 1.5 million. I know it's been talked about a million times, but I don't.
I mean, it does kind of seem like a round number that maybe we should make a comment to make sure that he did verify those numbers. It does. When you do say that, it just seems like really pretty numbers that.
Yeah, pretty even. I mean, we could say, you know,
I mean, it does say
approximately.
possible. It doesn't
Yeah.
say actual. It-
Yeah.
You know,
We don't know what the enrollment will be in 2026.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Approximately or estimated.
Yeah, should we just
And you
say
could say about
of
a third
approximately?
of the high school students.
Yeah,
I mean, 250, we only have about 550 high school students. I don't think we have 250 from Fremont.
Yeah,
I
it
do
sounds
think,
like
I
a
mean,
big
I do
number
think
to
that
me.
a third of the students are, almost a third are now from Fremont. I like the idea of putting the number versus a third better.
Rick has a
It's
question.
the same number we presented the year prior.
Is that the 250? Yeah, because this hasn't, we didn't change some of this.
Okay,
Okay,
We can update it.
yeah,
Yeah.
we can update it, sure.
Do you want to put a note?
Well, yeah, we can just have them make sure that it's. still-
Validate it.
yeah,
Verify it.
validate it, yeah. And then 4, Sanborn needs to balance improving student outcomes and watch costs to attract and retain students and families. This budget proposal accomplishes both for our district. Anyone have any comments or suggestions?
I think that's a nice summary of what our purpose is under the RSA.
So just that note.
Got it.
Okay, so page 11. 18. So 2022, 2023, oh, hold on. Somebody mentioned this last week.
Okay, so here you've got, look at that, local revenues, tuition, $4 million. The previous slide said 1.5 million.
What is this? I'm sorry, what?
On the revenue slide.
Oh, but
That's
that was
not
just for
just-
Fremont.
That was
But
just
we
for
have
Fremont.
tuition from other sources.
Yeah.
And we have,
Not $2.5 million worth.
Well, does tuition not include the Kingston and Fremont students? Is that considered tuition in that slide?
I believe the Fremont tuition
Oh,
is, I think what he's done is to net it out. I think what he's done is to say the Fremont tuition is about $4 million. And 2.5 million of that goes to paying the bond, which is going to go away when Fremont maybe goes
Ah.
away. And the net amount is about 1.5
Gotcha.
million. So that's why those numbers don't match up.
So proposed. Estimated adequacy. Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
Okay. The number was 4.2 million last year. So I'm just going to put a note that he should meet with Matt and make sure he update this slide. So let's agree on that.
The tuition number was 4.2.
I would have him check every single number on it.
Yeah, I think,
It does say source business administrator,
Yep. So let's just add a note to make sure.
but yeah.
yeah,
Because the problem I have is earnings on investments looks low for me,
Mhm.
$5,000. Last year it was 25,000. So
Yeah,
I
okay.
think we just need to make sure we just double
Okay.
check the
Yeah.
numbers, okay?
okay. Okay,
Food service sales, we're not even selling any food. Wait a minute.
It's estimated.
These are estimated for next
Estimated.
year.
Okay,
oh, thank you.
we're giving food away this year. There's no food service.
We're losing money. Okay. All right. So are we okay to move on? Slide 12. Oh, I gotta make a note. I'm awful at taking notes. That's why I didn't want to do it. Tax impact for a $300,000 house. So proposed operating budget, Kingston. So 5370, 1790 per thousand, Newton's 5679, 1893 per
I
thousand.
think we need to say what the increase is, the dollar increase. not just the total.
What do you mean?
It's $1.71 and 216, I think, are the numbers. I don't have it. Those are what I remember, but get Matt to give us those numbers again. Got a hand up next to you.
Oh, sorry. This is why I can't do this job. Go ahead. Rick.
We didn't do that last year, so I'm not sure why we would do it this year.
Yeah, this, it
It's
says
on the warrant article, I believe.
Wasn't in our presentation last year.
So didn't we, I think we determined last year that it would be more beneficial to give the, I feel like there was a reason that we did this formatting. I'm trying to remember what it was. I can't remember. Go ahead, Rick.
I believe it was too convoluted with all the numbers on the slide. I think that's what we discussed.
What?
We had cost per thousand, then the increase, and I think the slide was too busy. I think that's what the discussion was, if
That
I
makes-
remember.
Because it does kind of clearly show you right there. If I'm in Kingston, if I go with the, it's a $9 difference. Right? If I do the proposed operating the default budget. I'm zeroing in, right? I assume we use 300,000 because anyone can get pretty close to 300,000 from their house, their own house. So I'm just looking at going, oh, it's a $9 difference.
Between the two budgets.
Correct.
Yeah.
On my tax bill is going to be $9 less if I go with the proposed operating budget. That's really the bottom line. I think sometimes we go $17.90 per thousand. Oh God, now I gotta do all the math. in my head. So I like that. I think that's nicely said. It's a $9 difference. Thank you. That's all I need
So
to
you would
know.
like to see the net tax impact?
Yeah. I mean, it's like, people don't know what they may know the total mill rate, but they don't really know what they're paying for the school portion. So, I mean, if we're going, being transparent and giving full disclosure tells people your taxes are going up by $1.21 or $2.11 per thousand next year. Your tax bill is going to be $600 higher.
I see what you're saying, but I'll go back and say, I think what Rick said though, the slide becomes a lot of noise in the slide. I agree that it's going up, but if I just look between the two things, because this is my option, A or B, right? It's kind of irrelevant whether my taxes are going up. I get A or I get B.
But
Which
it isn't our option. It isn't the only option until after the deliberative.
I understand that, but if I'm in the showroom, if I'm in the audience, this is,
What if you do another little bubble underneath that just says $1.23, 211, whatever it was that you had mentioned,
Yeah, I think it's $1.71 and 211, but
just underneath, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's an increase. Kingston, $1.71, Newton, $211.
plus.
Yeah, plus
right.
211. And then do the same for the default, you know what I mean? So this, I mean, as long as it's still readable, I don't know why we have this in gray. Anyways, I feel like it's a lot of ink, but
I'm not sure what the dollar, what do you said? A dollar something is
so it's an increase of $1.71.
Per thousand.
per thousand?
so if we're gonna do that, then I think we should put it into perspective, not $1.71 per thousand. I think it should be whatever the math out is on a $300,000 home. Because then you're comparing apples to apples.
Okay.
So do the,
So the net increase on a $300,000 home on the proposed operating budget is $52, and on the default budget, it's $59. I don't know. I just completely made that number up.
Yeah, you really did, because it's more like $500, almost $600.
Okay.
You're not going to fit that all on one slide.
How about if we put it
You're
like
going
a
to have to add another slide.
like a table? You have operating budget, default budget. Kingston, this much per thousand, and this much increase. Default, Kingston, Newton, like a
know what I mean? Like a table, so you could follow down
Talking about
columns.
adding another slide.
So just changing the format of how you present the information.
So
Did we
get
take
rid of
out
the bubble.
1790 per thousand and put in what the increase is? To me, I just find, I mean, I don't know, I see them everywhere, so maybe people like it. I just personally do the math for me, which I like.
What's my
the
bottom
50.
line?
Yeah, what's my bottom line gonna be? So I would rather, if we're gonna put an increase, if I'm looking at it, I would rather know that this, okay, Kingston 5370, this is an increase of $537. That's more meaningful to me than seeing increase of $1.30 per thousand.
I think, and
Well,
I get that. I just feel that the information should be there because we try to be transparent and, not to put it there is like not being transparent.
Yeah, I've never understood this, and it's always been done this way. The tax impact for a $300,000 house, and they never break it down. But what if you have a $600,000 house or 400? You have to do the math anyways. You know what
Well,
I mean? So,
exactly, but I think it just gets you to a relevant. To me, it's just okay. If I have a $600,000 house, I'm gonna double 5370. If I have a $350,000 house, okay, I know it's around like
yeah.
you can estimate versus 1790. I don't know what that means in my like. I can't quickly identify what that means. And maybe, and I don't know, maybe it's just my own opinion because it is written like that everywhere. But I'd rather see it on a $300,000 house, and then I can.
The $300,000 house is about average for both towns. That's about the average.
I don't think this year it is.
Well, no, you're probably right, but
Yeah.
we haven't had a reassessment. So
Yeah.
we're still assessed it back, a few years ago. So,
I thought they
Yeah,
just
so
did
it
one.
doesn't
Yeah.
matter if
Yeah.
if your house is worth $200,000 more today than it does
Yeah.
last year, it's not going to affect anything, right? Because it goes by the assessment, not what you
Right.
could sell it for.
not till 2023 when you guys get reassessed. And
Whoa, let's not start throwing that.
I know,
Take it
right?
it's when you get reassessed.
Yeah. I know.
But also the tax rate goes down. It usually is about the same.
So I guess we need to decide. I like not Mary's, Cheryl's idea of removing this formatting and doing different formatting. I'm kind of sick of this whole budget, like the column thing though. So, 'cause
I do
feel
like that it's different than the column.
I know, I'm not tied to this specific formatting. I think we could fit it on one slide if we got creative and just got rid of these really big bubbles.
Yeah, if you made it just a little bit smaller and under, put Kingston up a little bit and put under that, just put a little parentheses, increase of, and whatever the dollar amount is, $573.
Mhm.
And then same thing with the default, and then same thing with Newton.
What do you want to put? Increase what?
No, I would just do I
Dollar
would do a
amount?
plus sign instead of
So
increase.
just a dollar amount, so the
Yeah,
plus
just-
sign,
Yeah,
and then a
So are we
dollar
gonna do
amount
it? Are we gonna do two lines? So a dollar sign for Kingston and a dollar sign for
for
Newton?
Newton.
right.
Okay.
So
I just gotta say, like, the busier you make, I'm just telling you, I do this for a living, guys. The busier you make this slide, the less you're gonna get out of it.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna throw all this information on a one slide, it's not gonna, nobody's gonna, and I'm not saying it's because of comprehension of people, but people typically don't look at all the numbers. If you got too much, it's too busy. So like, I would just say, if you want to present that information, just put it on another slide.
Okay, here's an idea.
Okay, why not just do another slide?
Yeah, I'll just
Can
put
we
in
just
here
do
a note.
another
We'll
slide
add
with the
another slide.
increase?
Or if we just do Kingston on one page and Newton on, not Kingston, the proposed on one page and the default on another?
No.
I think
Oh,
they
you
should-
want to see them side by side? Yeah,
Yeah.
never mind.
We want to pass.
How about if we put this on one slide, proposed operating and default next to each other, and put just Kingston, $300,000 house, Newton, don't put the 1790. Take the 1790 out and say plus X amount.
Yeah.
The 1790 is going to be on the warrant article.
agree.
People don't
I
care
agree
about the
with you.
1790.
So just do the plus whatever, well, what is it?
Yeah.
Plus what, and I think that will be a calculation from that.
It's about $600 for both towns.
Yeah, we'll get that from Matt.
We'll get the right number.
Okay.
Does that
Some-
solve it,
Something like that?
Rick, to not be busy, but to give?
No,
the
I think that's
information?
better. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
like
mean, the
that.
less
better.
information you have, the better it's going to be.
We all okay with that?
Yep.
Good.
Okay.
So we're getting the
Question.
dollar amount, not the amount per thousand.
And in the speaker's notes, should he note the rate? No?
People won't even hear it.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
It really doesn't mean anything. to
Yeah.
me.
It's like when you have your school board meetings and Jim and Jamie give all those numbers and it's just like.
Yeah.
you know?
I felt like last night, I felt like I was listening to Bernie Sanders. 5% of the 10% of the 2%.
Oh my God.
I'm standing in the back and I'm thinking, oh my God, Bernie Sanders is here. So many percent.
We can go to 18 or 19.
Cheryl's got her hand up.
Oh, go ahead, Cheryl.
I think we need to add a slide that just explains what the default budget is. And there's a paragraph, but the default budget is calculated on,
The school
you
board
know,
does
School
that.
board does that.
Yeah.
but the school board's not presenting the budget.
School board is presenting the default budget.
They're
That's-
presenting the default budget?
Yeah, they have the last several years.
Oh, okay.
But the school board
Not
is
at the public hearing.
The school
but-
board's not at the public hearing. though.
Yeah, they're not at the,
No,
they
but like-
presented at the deliberative.
Oh, so I think we need to, if we're saying these are your two alternatives, they want to know, well, what am I getting for the default budget?
Good
if it's
point.
Costing this much.
For
So,
the-
and so
just that-
maybe for the public hearing, we add it. For the deliberative, we don't need to, but for this one. I
So
would
you do
agree, it's a
speaker
good-
It's a
comment,
good point.
public hearing,
Didn't Larry?
just a
do it?
brief description of what,
Yeah, I think the school board did do it at the public hearing.
I
the last
think
couple years,
Larry,
but-
whoever was we might nominate you to do it.
You're right.
Yeah,
Somebody
Larry
did go-
Heath did it.
somebody did go up
Yeah.
and say- Yeah, there was someone from the school board who.
Yeah. And just read it. This is what the default budget is.
You're right.
I'm going to add a note that we're going to have somebody from the school board.
Yeah, I can
It should be Mara.
I
Yeah.
can do that.
Okay, so I'm putting your name down that you're doing it.
Yeah.
Sold.
I'm-
You'll have to
I'm-
watch the
I'm
last video,
emailing
so you-
myself right now to make sure.
Why, why is she doing it?
so she'll mention what the default budget, the purpose of the default budget is, right? Now,
To
is
your
that-
point, Cheryl, that it's not in there.
Yeah.
I'll present it because I'm from the school board. Because of the deliberative, the school board will present it. But at the public hearing, the school board's not there. So I will present it since the school board is not there.
Or
to
am I thinking the
present it.
deliberative? Did Larry do that?
No, he did it at both.
At the, he did it at
Yeah.
both.
I don't
All right.
remember that. I don't know.
So are you going to say, I'm doing this because I'm a school board member and the school board comes up with a default budget?
She's a school board representative
I,
to the budget
I
committee.
don't know. Is that, I,
I said go back and watch the last video and then try to
Yeah.
follow
As a
suit.
school board representative to the budget committee.
Yeah.
It is,
Here's an
my
explanation.
duty to,
so
Tell you what
should
this is.
that, and I think I recall it was back in the beginning, like the beginning of the presentation was the explanation of the default budget. I'm not
Um,
sure that we should be waiting until now to tell people what a default budget is.
Yeah, it needs to go in here somewhere. That's
It's
what
not-
I'm
I
just
almost
saying.
think
I
that
don't know
like
if it's necessarily
Explain it,
here.
but should there be a slide though?
We had
There's a
one for-
legal definition of how the default budget
Okay,
is
So
arrived at.
Mhm.
Add
Make
this,
it-
take out one-time expenses. You have to honor your contracts.
you know what? I think,
Like one
I think this
paragraph.
slide already exists in Tom's presentation. I think it already exists. So maybe I can
Yeah,
email get it from
yeah.
Tom.
It's probably also in the past couple of presentations. of the
Yeah,
past
and I
years, so.
can ask Jim to put it on the slide and then I can present it. I think it should be in the
page
beginning.
10,
Okay,
page 10 of Tom's.
People need to know,
yeah.
if I vote down the operating budget, I'm getting the default.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right.
Okay, so I
Not
think,
I vote for operating or default.
I think we need to set where we need to interject that in the presentation.
Very early on.
So are we going to make comments about, the true necessity of not, making sure that we don't go back to default because of new accounting? system? Define
I
or-
think that should be said. I don't know if you guys want me to say that, but I do think that's an important note of why we want people to push to the operating budget versus the default budget.
Yeah.
I think
I think you're right. Basically, you're up there, you're saying the school board has the obligation to prepare a default budget.
Yeah.
If the operating budget doesn't get passed, we get the default budget. And, the district will operate under the default budget with all the things that cause it problems with the
Right.
accounting system and so forth. And I want to tell you what the default budget is so that, you understand what the school board's come up with.
Yeah.
So where would you prefer to do that?
I think it should- I think it should be in the beginning. I can't say exactly which slide without seeing it, but
Go through here.
I think probably after we first say what the default budget is, I think it would make sense.
Operating budget proposal right there,
Yeah.
right there. Slide 5.
So, yeah, I think
You
that
would
would
make
be,
a slide 5.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good spot. As soon as we mention it, we should talk about what it is.
And if you make a slide that quotes the RSA with the definition of a
So I'm
default
gonna add a
budget,
note there.
Well, and I'll probably just use exactly what Tom's already got there, which I think has RSA on it.
yeah, except don't use his numbers from now, because they changed.
Oh, yeah. Well, either, I'm gonna talk to Tom anyways to make sure I'm saying everything properly.
Yeah, just be careful with these because it did change with the special ed and the utilities.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Okay.
Okay, so where are we?
Just letting him finish typing his notes and then we'll go back to page 13.
See, I think
Slide
we're near the
13.
end,
We're
right?
almost there, yeah.
Yeah,
We got 2 more. Actually, just 1 more because the last one is really just information.
Okay, good.
So 13, God, type
Oh,
faster.
sure.
Cheryl's hand.
I'm going to be Mary.
Oh, I'm sorry, sure.
Operating budget provides efficient use and fully funds intervention program. It's like you're using like 2 different tenses there.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep.
So
Fully
provides
funds.
efficient use and fully funds intervention program.
Fully funds. Okay, so you're gonna change the wording?
Here?
Yep. Fully funds the intervention program.
Mary, 2.
And take out the fully funded at the end.
And
Hey.
lowercase f1 funds.
So I have a question about something, but
Okay, we need to fill in our votes here.
yeah.
Budget committee was 8-0, school board was 6-1.
Oh, and recommended by the administration. Okay. New support staff contract coming in 2022. Well, we are in 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming in March.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So change it coming. in
yeah,
March.
I
Coming
Yeah,
in
my-
March.
Yeah.
When are we going to get the details on that? You guys have to present your warrant articles for public hearing too.
when does the budget committee get it?
No, the school. board.
Well, we
one
approved the
of them.
warrant articles last night,
Yeah.
which was a very confusing conversation.
It was.
So I think we're voting on them again.
But usually it's after the public hearing, it seems to me, but maybe not. I mean, is that true or?
We have to vote on whether we support
Mhm.
the employment contracts, and it's usually
After the public
after the
hearing.
public hearing, but is it like immediately following?
Oh, wait, was it?
I feel like it's immediately following.
I feel
because
like we
felt
got the
like
information
I felt like
early
it got
last.
sprung on me last time.
I think we got it early last year before the public hearing, and we were able to actually look at and
Right,
review
'cause
it
we
for the
haven't
first
seen
time.
anything. I
No.
know. We haven't seen
And in
anything.
years past, we got it like as an addendum, like, oh, you need to, like, what are we approving? What are we voting on? I was like,
Yeah.
we trust it's negotiated in good faith, and they're asking us to, so,
Yeah, I do feel like it was at the end where we all like. said-
Yeah.
I
last
felt
year we
like
actually
was
got it
rushed.
where we could look at the details.
So
So,
what I'd
would
like to
you
do.
ask
Oh, you're
them?
right, because we did talk about the numbers beforehand with Matt. I remember that.
So would
Yeah.
you ask, or
Sure.
can you report back from the budget, the school board?
Terrible at taking notes.
So what I'd like to ask for two
That's why we
reasons.
need a
One is I wanna
secretary.
Digest the warrant.
We have an
articles
update on
when I have a
secretary?
Chance to see them.
No.
And number two is, I won't be at the public hearing because I have a planning board meeting that night, public hearing. So I'd really like to be a part of this vote. So I'd like us not to do it that night. I want it to be hopefully 8-0 on everything, recommending everything, so.
So when are they being presented and when are we voting?
Right.
Yeah. We'll talk about that after. Jim did ask me to bring that up. Okay.
Oh, Jim did ask you to bring that up tonight?
You want me to save it?
You said
Yeah.
on the agenda.
Oh, yeah, I think I did see warrant articles on there, on the agenda.
On the agenda? No,
No, did I know?
no, it's definitely not. But he
Okay.
asked me to talk
I'm
about
sorry,
what-
I think I'm mixing my meeting agendas now.
Jesus. No, just save it on my desktop.
Pretty amazing how they're saying all these masks are.
I will tell you, I wear a mask every time I'm in public. I've not even had a cold in 2 years.
Can you find
So-
the,
So
Well, you
guess it
don't want to
depends how
override
diligently and
Yeah.
effectively you wear them.
this thing.
Well, and washing hands and doing all that kind of stuff that everybody's doing
Yeah.
helps.
Oh, man.
because when it says my drive, I don't know if I'm in that, you know what I
Oh,
mean?
the 03 was the third draft.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
what he
you're
meant
right.
by the 03.
I mean, knock on wood, like I have not.
So
I've
those
not-
are, click the options again? What were the drop down options?
not a sniffle.
'Cause I think you.
Oh, yeah, click share drives. Can you click that again? Budget committee? Yeah, and then in there. Yeah, there you go. So.
Yep.
Planning for, yeah. Yeah, saving it. So planning,
Agenda, past term, budget actuals. I'll just save it here.
yeah, just save it in there. So planning for 2022, 2023. So he's got a note on here in terms of the agenda about, I'm sorry. Nope, I'm sorry, on this little thing. Thank you. Thank you, Rick. So it says motion and then vote. So do we have to motion to accept this, the changes that we made? Because it's not really
No, no,
finalized,
no,
right?
no.
Yeah.
No, he's still got some to do. Some information to
Okay.
Populate and verify.
Yeah. So do we need him to send it to us beforehand or no?
No, because we're not going to reapprove it.
Yeah, we
I mean,
can't, and we can't really
And
talk
if we
about
have
it.
changes
I mean-
to make to it, it'll be after the public hearing.
Yeah, I mean, it couldn't hurt though, if
Yeah.
if it was
could catch
ready,
an
I don't
error
think
or
he has
something.
to, but it might
February
be
9th?
nice.
Because he's going to be adding numbers to it.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Okay. So we'll request that he just sends it to us in case it's like an error. or something.
If he can, and understanding it's what, Tuesday night.
Yeah.
So
Next.
I don't know how much
Yeah.
time he's gonna have to do it. That's all. I mean, I'm guessing that the administrative team is working remotely tomorrow, but I don't know if it being a snow day is going to throw another monkey in the wrench. And then by the time you know it, Jim doesn't get his numbers till Monday or Tuesday and
Yeah.
he just,
Tom's out quarantining in the meantime, and Matt's not in town, and.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
It's crazy. Okay. All right. So public comment, there is none. Committee comment?
No.
Any committee comment? No?
Nope.
Somebody want to make a motion to, oh, no, our next meeting is Tuesday, January 11th.
But what did he ask you to talk about the warrants?
No, oh, no, thank you. No, just in terms of, yeah, voting,
Yes,
just voting. Annie had, he wanted me to mention to you folks and just have us discuss it really quick that Annie won't be here for the public meeting next week. So she requested that we suspend the voting.
Also, we haven't seen the information, so I'd really like to see it. We have a whole new warrant article on some electrical thing, and
Yeah.
I mean, I want to look at them. I want to see them.
Are we voting on those
We
also?
always vote on anything that's money.
On
Any
the,
dollar
we'll
impact?
vote on the warrant articles at the next meeting?
Not at the next meeting, but at our next meeting after the public hearing, yeah. I mean, we always vote on the CBA. We always vote on all the reserve accounts, anything that's money, we vote on.
do we meet again before the deliberative?
That's what I would like. The 20th or 20th?
don't have a
Do we
cal-
have a scheduled meeting right now or no?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I have it in my phone as the 20th meeting.
You do?
Doesn't mean it's right, 'cause I know the schedules.
I'm
The
trying to look.
schedule's changed a couple of times.
We'll have a meeting between the public hearing and the deliberative.
What does it say?
So when are you proposing that so are you proposing that it's presented at the same time and then we vote? So it's not, I assume what you're proposing is not we just go to vote, it's that the warrant articles are proposed and then we go through the money part of them and then vote on them?
Yeah, because when it's at the deliberative and then when it's on the ballot, it says recommended by the school board X to X, recommended by the budget
Yeah.
committee X to X. So, we have to have a vote.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, I didn't know if there was, I'm just thinking in terms of like, is there a discussion or presentation? I'm just thinking it wasn't really presented to the school board. It was, we saw a copy of them. We read them. There might have been a couple of notes, but there wasn't a presentation, I guess is what I'm
Mhm.
saying. It was just,
So you guys have not voted on the warrant articles yet?
we voted last night. It was, I think we vote again after at the deliberative session, but we voted last night for them
To move forward to the deliberative?
Yes,
Okay.
but it wasn't, there was no presentation. Tom didn't get up and do a presentation.
Yeah, I think, oh, I'm sorry.
We beforehand got the warrant articles, we read them.
Yeah.
And if we had any comments, we commented on them. It was more than anything, it was just like us discussing the voting numbers were incorrect.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a presentation that, here's an explanation of what the warrant article is.
So I guess, as far as us with the warrant articles, if we get the explanations and we get the breakdown and we get all the information and everything, and we all do our homework, and we got it ready for Tuesday night, and we get ready to vote, I will figure out a way to get out of my meeting and call in so that I can cast a vote. I mean, if that's what you want to do. It seems to me it's kind of a rush job.
So wait, I just want to, so we vote, I'm sorry, Rick, you've been waiting to go.
I thought the discussion, I thought Pete mentioned it, right, Roderick, that you didn't vote. And I remember from the Kingston Budget Committee days, you don't vote on the warrant articles because they can be changed to deliberative. So you don't vote to make sure that nothing's changed. I think
So
that's,
whatever we're doing on Tuesday it's not what's going on the ballot because it might change at the deliberative.
But it
Yeah.
is going to the deliberative.
Right. But it's not going what's on the ballot. So should we
But-
I guess what I'm saying is it worth having another meeting when this isn't something that's going on the ballot? Is it worth having another meeting so that you can get your vote in? If there was no scheduled meeting? That's all I'm saying. If that's not what's going on the ballot.
what'll go on the ballot is what's decided at the deliberative. And that's when you vote, and that's when the transparency goes on to the ballot.
So what we've always done in the past is we voted after the public hearing, after we hear from the public, if we're going to make a change to the budget or we're not, or whatever's going to happen.
Right.
And then we re-vote on our budget. And then the school board re-votes on our budget because we advance it to the school board saying, we heard from the public, here's our budget. And the school board votes on all their warrants, and we voted on all the ones that have to do with money. We don't vote on the one that you'll renegotiate the contract if it doesn't pass. Then at the deliberative, if anything changes, then we have another vote. But if none of it changes, then we don't vote again. It just stays. That's what's happened in the past.
Yeah, I can't seem to remember. I don't like year to year what happens.
But if you all want to,
It's so bad.
do it on Tuesday, and if we can get the information ahead of time, I will leave my meeting and call in. I'm not trying to make it hard on everybody. I just want to be part of the vote.
I mean, that's understandably gonna be part of the vote.
But that's making a big assumption that maybe isn't there, that we're not going to hear anything at the public hearing that would cause us to change our minds. I mean, we legally have to hear from the public. So before we make up our minds, for sure.
So if we don't get the information about the other warrant articles, then we're not going to take a vote.
We should get it.
I have a note to have Tom reach out to Tom to see if we can't get the information.
So we will need to schedule a meeting sometime between the public hearing and the deliberative so that we can discuss and take a vote on the other warrant articles.
And it could be on Tuesday night after the public hearing.
I don't foresee getting the information and having enough time to look at it, and we certainly won't have time to deliberate. I mean, you want to do it right there at that, after the
That's what,
meeting.
I mean, that's what we did before. It was pretty, they're not really controversial.
Go ahead, Rick.
So the budget calendar that I have says January 20th, 2022. Tentative budget committee meeting to consider comments from public hearing, finalize budget recommendations, vote on warrant articles, and make any presentation changes required based on public hearing.
Okay, January, thank you.
It's bright yellow. I literally had it on my phone,
Yeah.
but it's not sequential, so it's confusing because they have 19, 21st. Okay, I totally missed it.
So I'm
Okay.
perfectly happy to wait till then.
That's fine.
No, I said we vote without Annie.
No, I want to have the information.
I'd rather, yeah, I need to digest information. I don't do well on the spot.
There have been a couple of instances early in my tenure where we were swept, behind the closed curtain on the
Yes.
stage and said, all right, I'm like, what are you talking about? I haven't even seen this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what
I
you're
feel
talking
like
about.
that happened to me before. I really do.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not going to
So
vote on this.
that's only in the last 2 years.
Okay. All right. So,
So we're gonna hold on it.
yeah.
Okay.
So we'll hold on it and, well, are we making a decision today that we're not going to vote? I
Yeah.
think we have to make that
Everybody
decision
come
If it's
today.
today.
agreed, we're not voting, right?
And we're going,
Christine?
so the next meeting, okay. So the next meeting,
We can't hear you.
So are we meeting on Tuesday or not?
yes,
Yes.
Tuesday, we're having the public
Okay.
hearing on Tuesday. So that is a guaranteed. And then we are adding that tentative meeting will now be a firm meeting for the 20th.
20th, fine.
Yeah.
Is it going to be in the gym or in the auditorium?
Here it says
That's
gymnasium.
Yeah, but that's all. The
The
in there
acoustics are bad.
terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says the gymnasium.
I think that's because of
There were
last
maybe
year's COVID.
30 people that
distancing.
showed up.
Yeah, well,
last
it's,
year.
And Cheryl and Mike were the only people there.
Yeah. Well, other than employees, school
Yeah.
employees.
I just want to remind everybody that the acoustics in the auditorium were terrible the year prior. Like you couldn't hear half the people speaking.
Really?
Absolutely, 100%. And go watch the video again. I remember Tammy struggling tremendously and like feedback, cutting out. And
Oh,
no offense, but I mean, it was.
they got
Yeah.
new,
The microphones were,
Did they?
oh, yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah.
was bad.
Now that you say that, I remember that. They got new equipment.
yeah.
We got new equipment.
I think that was the deliberative that there was just
Yeah.
two of
Yeah.
us in the auditorium, because
Yeah,
I
they-
do
they-
remember going to the
I think
gym
like the next meeting it was fixed.
for the public hearing. We were at the gym.
Yeah.
I make a motion to adjourn.
A second.
Were you
Okay.
ready for that? Did you have anything?
No, so I have to wait. Hold on.
All right.
8:53. Do we have to vote?
No.
No.
You can just
Okay.
call it.
So Mary voted to adjourn and who seconded?
Rick.
Rick second.